I have seen many things in my lifetime, but few stories remain as clear in my mind as the tale of Abina, the girl with the golden spoon. If you had seen her once, you would not forget her. She was the only daughter of Kwakupoku, the wealthiest man in our village of Esumanu. Her skin was the color of polished mahogany, her feet as soft as a newborn's, untouched by the rough earth that others walked barefoot. While other girls rose before the sun to fetch water, Abina slept on mats woven from the finest raffia, and when her eyes finally opened, her mother's servants would bring her food on a tray carved from rare ebony wood. Abina's mother, Adwoa, adored her only child, and she was determined that Abena would never know hardship. When the village girls pounded fufu in the afternoons, their hands strong from years of work, Abena would sit beneath the shade of the baobab tree, plucking at her beaded necklace and watching with disinterest. The elders shook their heads and murmured amongst themselves, saying, "A child who never learns to work will one day feed on regret." But Kwakupoku laughed and waved their words away. "My daughter will never need to work," he boasted. "She was born with a golden spoon." Life continued this way for many years. Abina's feet never touched the river's edge, nor did her hands know the weight of a calabash filled with water. But the spirits have a way of humbling those who grow too comfortable. The season of hardship came to Esumanu like a leopard in the night. First, the rains failed, and the river, which had never dried in living memory, shrank until the fish lay gasping on the cracked earth. Then the locusts came, blackening the sky, devouring the maize and cassava until the land itself seemed cursed. The people of Esumanu had weathered hard times before, but never like this. Even Kwakupoku, with his vast wealth, could not escape the grip of misfortune. The traders from the distant coast stopped coming, and the debts he thought would never catch up to him arrived at his doorstep like hungry dogs. The day came when he could no longer pay his workers. One by one, the servants left, and the great house that once bustled with life became silent. The golden spoon, it seemed, had been lost. Abena, for the first time in her life, found herself alone. The fine silk wrappers her mother had gifted her were now tattered, and the delicate sandals that once protected her feet had broken. She turned to the village girls, the ones she had watched pounding fufu and fetching water while she had done nothing. But they only looked at her with pity. "You never learned to walk," they said. "How will you survive now?" With no other choice, Abina went to the marketplace to find work. The fish sellers laughed at her soft hands and refused her. The seamstresses saw how her fingers trembled over the needle and turned her away. Finally, an old woman named Mama Essie, who sold firewood, took pity on her. "Come," she said, "I will teach you." The first day, Mama Essie gave Abena a small bundle of wood to carry. Even this she struggled with, her arms shaking under its weight. She was used to being waited upon, not carrying burdens. The second day, Mama Essie made her sort through the wood, removing the damp logs from the dry ones. The work was dirty, her once smooth hands covered in splinters, but she did not complain. Slowly, painfully, she learned. Weeks turned into months. Abina's feet, once soft, hardened from walking barefoot on the rough paths. Her arms, once weak, grew strong from carrying firewood. She learned to bargain with customers, to wake before the sun, to listen to the stories of the market women and laugh with them. The villagers who once pitied her now nodded in respect when she passed. They said, she is no longer the girl with the golden spoon, they said. She is one of us. One day, as she sat in the marketplace, her hands deftly tying firewood into bundles, a shadow fell over her. She looked up to see her father, Kwaku Poku, standing before her. His fine robes were gone, replaced by simple cloth, and his once proud shoulders were slumped. Abena, he said, his voice heavy with sorrow, I have nothing left to give you. Abena rose to her feet and placed her hand on her father's shoulder. Then come, Baba, she said, let me teach you how to walk. And so it was that the girl with the golden spoon learned to carve her own path. She never regained the wealth she once had, but she gained something greater, the respect of her people and the strength to stand on her own. And in the evenings, when she sat with the market women and shared stories beneath the stars, she would smile, knowing she had finally found her place among them. I tell you this story not to shame Abina, but to remind us all no one knows what the future holds. Fortune may place a golden spoon in your hands today, but only wisdom and hard work will keep food upon it tomorrow.